Tonight, it's the Texas Derby in the U.S. Open Cup. The Houston Dynamo and FC Dallas meeting for the fourth time all-time in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. And this matches the deepest ever in the competition these sides have met, matching the 2006 quarterfinals, a 3-0 Dynamo win back at the Carl Lewis track facility at the University of Houston. Dallas looking for multiple trophies this year. They lead the Supporters Shield race just past the halfway mark in the MLS season. They're near the top of the Western Conference here in the regular season and seeking their second ever U.S. Open Cup trophy. For the Dynamo, who sit bottom of the Western Conference with 15 games left in the regular season, this is their most realistic chance for silverware this year. The Dynamo 3 wins away from lifting the Open Cup for the first time in their history. They've reached the semifinals twice, have never reached the final, and with their 3rd straight Open Cup home game, have a great chance against their rivals. These teams have met in the Open Cup now 3 times in the last 4 years, and Dallas has gotten the best of the Dynamo in both of those occasions. Most recently, here in Houston, right after the 2014 World Cup break, Dallas won 3-2 in extra time on a goal from Tesho Akindele, a 3-2 win. They ended up falling in the semifinals at home against the Philadelphia Union. Arguably the most important Texas derby since 2007 in the MLS Cup playoffs, where the Dynamo dispatched FC Dallas before winning their 2nd straight Open Cup. Who wins tonight? We'll find out next.
My first ever goal was to become a professional player. It's something I dreamed of as a kid. Coming out of the tunnel for the first time, it was incredible. The only thing I think about was trying to find my dad in the crowd. That was my way of settling my nerves. He's my mentor, my hero. It was that moment that I realized this is my dream and this is my chance to grasp it.
BHP Billiton is a leading global resources company with mining and oil and gas interests worldwide. Our reputation is built on proven performance, helping provide the energy that keeps the world moving, cities growing, communities thriving. And we combine this innovative spirit with a commitment to sustainability, developing natural resources with responsibility and integrity, today and for years to come. BHP Billiton, resourcing the future.
They're prehistoric. They've been extinct for millions of years. They're at the Houston Zoo this summer. Dinosaurs at the Houston Zoo. Journey back in time and come face to face with these massive creatures, from the feathered Utahraptor and towering Brachiosaurus to the mighty T-Rex. These dinosaurs move, roar, and even spit water. For details, go to houstonzoo.org and hurry to the Houston Zoo this summer before this exhibit goes extinct.
Getting more for your money is simpler than you might think. When you shop at Kroger, you get low prices throughout the store, weekly specials, great value from our quality brands, digital coupons, and even fuel points to help you save at the pump. No spin, just savings, pure and simple. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
Now just moments away from kickoff here in Houston, Texas, in the quarterfinals of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. It's the fourth quarterfinal appearance for the Houston Dynamo. They went there last year before falling at Sporting Kansas City on the road 3-1. Houston held a 1-0 lead late into that game before Kansas City scored 3 times late. This is the 15th quarterfinal appearance for FC Dallas, third in their last 4 years. They lost in Kansas City around before the Dynamo last year, but they reached the quarterfinals in 14 and 2013. The Dynamo seeking their third semifinal appearance in team history and first since 2009. And FC Dallas looking to reach the semifinals for the second time in 3 years. They lost to Philadelphia on penalties at Toyota Stadium back in 2014. Both Blas Perez and Victor Ulloa had penalties saved on that night. This would be the 8th semifinal appearance for FC Dallas if they were to win tonight. Very warm temperatures. We'll see if we might have a hydration break in the first and possibly even the second half. 95 degrees right now in Houston, Texas. And with humidity, it feels like it's 102. So very warm and a good tribute on the field. A stand with Dallas as both teams' starting lineups take a picture together with a few police officers to honor the Dallas Police Department after the tragic events a few weeks ago. Here's the starting lineup for Oscar Pareja, a manager of FC Dallas. It's very much a first-choice lineup as they play their 5th game in 17 days. And Saturday will be their 6th game in 20 days. So they rested many players a week ago at Seattle, used almost a first-choice lineup on Saturday. A few players were held out. 3 of the big attacking pieces are in there. Mauro Diaz, Fabian Castillo, and Michael Barrios. They're raring to go. Some new faces along the back line, most notably Aubrey David, 25-year-old Trinidad international, joined Dallas on loan from Saprissa of Costa Rica on July 4th. He gets the starts in this big quarterfinal matchup. The big missing piece is Matt Hedges. Whether it's by preference or a matter of rest remains to be seen. Chris Seitz gets the start in goal. 29-year-old has started 16 regular season games. He's been the first choice goalkeeper. And now for the Houston Dynamo under interim head coach Wade Barrett, it is very much a first choice lineup. The one notable absence is DeMarcus Beasley, who underwent knee surgery just to repair a loose body. He should be back in a few weeks, but everyone else is a starter or capable of starting over this congested window. The Dynamo playing their 2nd game of a span of 3 in 9 days. Ricardo Clark makes his 2016 Open Cup debut. He is the captain for the Dynamo tonight. Mar Manotas gets the start up front, 21-year-old. He had his 21st birthday on Friday. He has scored 3 goals in 2 games in the Open Cup this year, tied for the lead among active Open Cup players. Team still in the competition with David Accam of Chicago. Manotas looking to score in 3 straight games. Giles Barnes moves to the left after starting up front at LA on Friday. Andrew Wenger back in the starting lineup. It's a 4-2-3-1 formation for Wade Barrett, who has used a 4-1-4-1 throughout his 7 games as MLS interim head coach for the Dynamo. He wanted more offense tonight, and his 4-2-3-1 gives him a little bit more offensive possibility than the 4-1-4-1. Our referee tonight is Kevin Terry Jr. Assistant referees Jeffrey Greason and Jeremy Weed. 4th official Luis Guardia. Here we go from Houston, Texas. It's the Dynamo in orange, FC Dallas in the white jerseys with blue horizontal lines and blue shorts. Arguably the biggest Texas derby since the 07 MLS Cup playoffs as the Dynamo won. A thrilling second half comeback in the second leg, and then a few extra time goals on their way to the MLS Cup final. Dallas has controlled the series in recent years, but the Dynamo have been very good against Dallas in the regular season this year. A 5-0 home win and a draw back in June. Maidana, forward ball towards Manotas, and it's too long for Chris Seitz. Many Colombians factoring in this one today, and today is the Colombian Independence Day. Of course, Oscar Pareja, Colombian, is the head coach for FC Dallas. They have 4 Colombians on their roster. Manotas starts for the Dynamo against a former teammate, Michael Barrios. Each of them played for Uniatinoma FC in Colombia before joining MLS. Many storylines, of course, Texas rivals, 26 regular season meetings between these teams all time. And Dallas had dominated the Dynamo the last few years before the 5-0 win back on March the 12th. But Dallas has controlled the last 2 Open Cup meetings, 3-0 at home in the 4th round back in 2013 as Rodriguez goes back to Willis. High pressure from Maxi Urruti, and he almost got there against Willis. Very shaky start from the Dynamo goalkeeper. Here's Barrios towards the top of the box. Castillo takes it off the top of the knee. Anibaba defending. And a good block there from Julio Anibaba. Anibaba got the start in Wade Barrett's 2nd game as interim head coach at FC Dallas after Shane Williams started in Vancouver the game before. He was partially at fault on the opening goal from Dallas, but he did a much better job in the second half. Wade Barrett gave him high praise, and he's really kept the starting right back job since for the performance he had in the second half at Dallas on June 2nd. So here he is tonight, matched up against the dynamic Colombian 24-year-old, Fabian Castillo. 3rd minute. Dallas in a very congested point of their schedule. 5th game in 17 days. And many competitions looming ahead. If they win this one, the semifinal is August 9th or 10th. They'll enter the CONCACAF Champions League for the first time in years at the end of August. As delivery comes from the far side, Abdoulaye Mansali settling for the Dynamo. Clark lost it. Here comes Dallas. They're so good in transition. Agus Garcia against Mauro Diaz, and the flag is up. Barrios offside in the judgment of Jeffrey Greason, our near side official. But these teams know each other so well. 3 meetings last year. This is the 3rd meeting this year. They'll meet again in Houston at the end of August. But beginning with a St. Patrick's Day game, a noon kickoff up in Frisco back in 2013, and a controversial winning goal from Kenny Cooper as it appeared to maybe have hit his arm on the way down. A 3-2 Dallas win. They controlled this series until March the 12th when the Dynamo came back with a 5-0 home win. But in the standings, Dallas firmly in control. They missed out on the Supporter Shield last year on tiebreaker, in position to win it this year with 12 games left on their regular season schedule. Maidana switching. Here's Giles Barnes on this left flank up against Atiba Harris. Good service from Barnes. Wenger crashing the far side. It's Minor Figueroa heading away. Castillo against Anibaba. Just underway from Houston, 5th minute, no score. Mauro Manotas. Here's Maxi Urruti. Good position from Mansali, but it falls right to Kellen Acosta. Now it's Wenger tracking back, goes into a tackle. He fouls Fabian Castillo. Free kick to Dallas. Memorable play in that 5-0 Dynamo win back in March. It was Andrew Wenger tracking back about a 60-yard defensive run to run down Fabian Castillo on the edge of the defensive penalty area. One of the highlights of that 5-0 Dynamo win. We saw his work rate just there, but that time he fouled Castillo. Many of these players for Dallas making their 4th start in this 5 games in 17-day stretch. Most of those with 4 starts. They did not start at Seattle last Wednesday, a 5-0 defeat. Here's Mauro Diaz. Good pressure from Colin Warner helping out Raul Rodriguez. And good intricate passing from the Dynamo there. Clark with Maidana, and it spills back to Warner. A 4-2-3-1 tonight for the Dynamo, a 4-2-3-1 for Oscar Pareja and FC Dallas. It's a slight departure for Wade Barrett and the Dynamo, who'd gone to a 4-1-4-1. Colin Warner, who started every league game since Barrett took over as the interim head coach at the end of May. But he wanted more offensive options more of an attack-minded display as Manotas nutmegs Kellen Acosta. Switched wide here to Wenger. Wenger cuts inside. Forward, here's Maidana, edge of the box. On Ibaba, early delivery, and Manotas will watch it as it's caught by Seitz. You see the skill and the run of play from Manotas. 3 goals in 2 Open Cup games this year. Came off the bench at LA for the last 5 minutes on Friday, a 1-0 Dynamo defeat. So much talent, experience with the Colombia U20 national team. Joined the Dynamo on a transfer last May. Agus Garcia. He has not started a league game since Wade Barrett took over as interim head coach, but this is his 3rd straight start in the Open Cup. He has played every minute as the Dynamo dispatched San Antonio FC in the 4th round, then Sporting Kansas City, the reigning champions, in the round of 16. Maidana with his head up, has Colin Warner. Abdoulaye Mansali joining, Perea off the bench for FC Dallas. It's been an even start to this game. And it's out for an FC Dallas throw-in. Atiba Harris with the throw-in. Garcia in front of Arudi. Willis, of course, accustomed to deep Open Cup runs. He started 4 games in 2013 as DC United won the competition. Willis started from the 4th round up until the final when Bill Hamid kept a shutout and DC United upset Real Salt Lake in Utah. Rodriguez back to Willis as Castillo applies pressure. Agus Garcia. One spot by Real Madrid. As Maidana curls it for Manotas. He's in behind Zimmerman. On his left, Zimmerman defending. And it's a goal kick to FC Dallas. Good battle there between 2 bright players in MLS. Walker Zimmerman, 23-year-olds. Number 7 overall pick in 2013. That time he got the best of Manotas. It was a good crafty ball from Christian Maidana. He has not been as much of a starter under Wade Barrett as he was under Owen Coyle, but Barrett has given him opportunities. He started him on the left wing in that 4-1-4-1, the first game in Vancouver. He's had many moments. He's starting here tonight in what seems like the biggest game of the year for the Dynamo. Yeah, the game-winning goal, 95th minute free kick here against Philadelphia on July 2nd. But Boniek Garcia, he and Colin Warner have gained the most minutes under Wade Barrett so far. But Maidana in his natural attacking midfield position tonight in Houston's 4-2-3-1. Mauro Diaz. Clark into a tackle. Dynamo have done a good job so far on the crafty Argentine Mauro Diaz. He's been so good, has improved every year in MLS. 4 assists in his last 4 games. Played 90 minutes, scored a goal on Saturday as Dallas beat Chicago 3-1. And he's been a big part of the Open Cup. He's had to play 120 minutes in each of the last 2 rounds. Manotas went down. Referee had a very good view. Lets them play on. That was Figueroa on the back of the young Colombian Mauro Manotas. Dallas was in some trouble. They had to go to a shootout following a 2-2 draw with OKC Energy FC back in the 4th round. And then they trailed Colorado Rapids 1-0 at home. It was Mauro Diaz scoring the equalizing goal and Maxi Arudi the winning goal in extra time and a 2-1 win. So 120 minutes in the last 2 games in the Open Cup for Dallas. And Diaz has played all 240. Atiba Harris forward. Here's Barrios against Mansally. Barnes, an honest effort defensively, giving Mansally some cover. And now a throw into FC Dallas here in the 12th minutes. Acosta. Diaz. Wide for Figueroa. Acosta with Diaz. Sustained possession here from FC Dallas. Harris over the top. Barrios foot race with Mansally. Runner in the box. And good feet from Agus Garcia. Slowed down and got a foot on it. Max Urruti was in. Darting run from the backside of the box as Dallas breaks down the Dynamo here in the 13th minute. Harris over the top and the flag comes up against Max Urruti. There are 4 quarterfinals tonight and the 103rd edition of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. The one that will end first is at Harvard Stadium in Boston. And New England leads 1-0 over Philadelphia. Javon Watson, who played for both the Dynamo and FC Dallas, the opening goal. Philadelphia looking to get back to the final for the 3rd straight year after 2 heartbreaking home defeats. Wenger forward under the feet of his former Union teammate, Chaco Maidana. The other game kicked off simultaneously with this match at Toyota Park outside Chicago. And Chicago leads 1-0. David Accam with his 4th goal of the 2016 US Open Cup. A penalty, it's 1-0 Chicago over the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, the last team remaining from the NASL. Good work from Agus Garcia stepping forward. Here goes the big Spaniard, he draws a foul. So a good win initially. And the big center back took the space. Free kick Houston in a very good spot. Agus Garcia played at an under-20 World Cup for Spain. Experience in Turkey. Joined the Dynamo from Segunda A. Had a good run under Owen Korolev starts, but preferred partnership so far under Barrett has been Horst and Rodriguez, but Agus playing in a very important quarterfinal tonight. Here's Maidana standing over this free kick. Had an assist on Lionel Miranda's goal against San Antonio FC in the 4th round 3 weeks ago. 2-man wall for FC Dallas. Here it comes from Maidana. And it's blocked. Came off Diaz. Now Wenger has a second crack at it. And it's a goal kick. So disappointing for Maidana as it went right off Diaz, the second man in the wall. I think that might have factored into some of the times where Maidana has come off the bench the preceding game. Maybe his service hasn't been as good as Wade Barrett would hope for. Maidana's been in and out of the starting lineup. Sights with a goal kick. Barnes, good challenge against Harris. Throw in Houston. Maidana wants to take it quickly. I like that tempo for Maidana. This home game for Houston. Now Barnes, 1 versus 2, pulls it back. Has Maidana, went for the nutmeg, but Harris closed his legs at the last moment. Figueroa. Diaz. Here comes Dallas, but the flag is up. Maxi Arudi on the far side. And a very busy first half for Jeffrey Greason, the near side official in front of the Dynamo bench. That's about the third offside against FC Dallas. And Arudi was in. It was a well-weighted pass for Mauro Diaz. Nine assists in the regular season for Mauro Diaz. Named an all-star over the weekend, one of the two commissioners' picks by Don Garber. The all-star game next Thursday in San Jose, as it's miscleared by Agus Garcia, but goes under the feet of Barrios. Big switching ball from Atiba Harris. Throw in Dynamo on the far side. Maidana targeting Barnes. Too long and Seitz makes the claim. Barnes with 6 shots on Friday night at the LA Galaxy, a season high. Agus reads it well, falls to Acosta. It was his first start at forward since April 30th at Real Salt Lake. Been playing mostly on the wing under Wade Barrett. Missed over a month of the regular season, gone with Jamaica at the Copa America. Pretty even start to this game. I would say Dallas has had a little bit more possession of the last 5 or 10 minutes, but the Dynamo have been compact and organized in this 4-2-3-1 formation. Warner next to Clark. Every other regular season game under Wade Barrett, it's been Warner as the holding midfielder in a 4-1-4-1 with Clark and Alex Lima in front. And Sally defending against Barrios. The Colombian back to Atiba Harris. Harris, one of several players that played 90 minutes on Saturday for Dallas. Dynamo with 1 extra day of rest. They played Friday, but they also had significant travel from LA back to Houston yesterday. Both teams used to this type of weather. Dynamo more accustomed to the humidity here in South Texas. Barrios chests it wide. Atiba Harris. Dynamo numbers back. Barrios stands on it. And Sally patient. Harris able to serve. Free header for Ani Baba, and he clears. Diaz. Good challenge from Sally. He timed it well. The Dynamo need to be careful. Diaz has gained more and more space and comfort level as this game has worn along. And really bottled him up the first 10 to 12 minutes, but he's found himself in good spots the last few sequences as Barnes goes down. Some good options on both benches for each of these teams. For the Dynamo, Will Bruin, Boniek Garcia, Alex Lima, 3 legitimate attacking options, plus Charlie Ward, who signed a short-term agreement. He's played every minute and started all 18 games for Rio Grande Valley FC in the US Open Cup. He is an option, some cover at defensive mid. Wade Barrett said before the game he's earned it. Former Stoke City under-21 player. Good work down the right side for the Dynamo. Ani Baba overlapping. Good defending by Minor Figueroa. Clark could not spin away from Aubrey David. It's his first Open Cup game with Dallas. He only joined FC Dallas 2 weeks ago. Well-traveled Aubrey David, born in Guyana. Raised in Trinidad. Played in Finland in 2014, Kazakhstan in 2015, and the spring season with Saprissa. Barnes with Mansally. First Open Cup game this year for both Barnes and Ricardo Clark. Baba. Maidana flaring out to the right side. Wenger's onside. Wenger does win a corner kick. Took a minute to figure it out between Jeremy Wee, the linesman, and Kevin Terry Jr., but in the end, a Dynamo corner. And a chance for Maidana to have a better delivery after he hit the wall with this free kick about 5 minutes ago. Comes from Chaco. And a foul goes against the Dynamo. So 2 straight set pieces wasted by the Dynamo. One on a delivery, the second on a foul. No indication who it was on. Marmanotis has his palms forward. But disappointing for Wade Barrett, I'm sure. Halfway through this first half, good pressure from Marmanotis. He's going to go in the book. Maybe a bit over-exuberant after it seemed he may have been called for the foul a moment ago on the corner kick. So Manotis goes in the book, first caution of the night, and we should tell you no player in this game is on yellow card warning. You have 3 yellow cards through this stage of the tournament. You'll have to sit out a match. Nobody is on that warning just yet. And now a handball called on Maidana. And he tried to settle it. Diaz away from Warner. Now Warner fouls Diaz. That's probably the 4th foul in about a 2-minute span against the Dynamo, including the handball. So Warner hearing things out from Kevin Terry Jr. Looked like a foul. The knee of Warner caught Diaz. Diaz statistically is the most fouled player in MLS based off of fouls suffered per 90 minutes. Here's the delivery from Diaz. Good header from Anibaba. Yeah, Figueroa will watch it out. Mauro Diaz draws 3.12 fouls per match. The highest per game average in MLS this season. A total of 50 fouls suffered in 16 games. Dynamo compress the space. Dallas still keeps possession. Here's Fabian Castillo. He's had a quiet first 25 minutes. The Dynamo have done a good job on his side. But as we saw June 2nd, it just takes one play. Castillo got behind the Dynamo right side. Set up a goal for Ryan Hollingshead. It was canceled out by a Ricardo Clark equalizer midway through the second half. That game had a long delay after just a few minutes on a horribly flooded field. Last time these two teams met, 1-1 in Frisco back on June 2nd. Tiba Harris, Juana Diaz, cleared by Agus Garcia. Maidana pressures Sights. Rodriguez against Castillo. Barrios now on this left side. Anibaba in retreat. Urruti and Diaz central for Dallas. Castillo tries a 1-2. Warner does just enough to slow it down. Here's Acosta. Now Guerrezo. Good shape from the Dynamo. Atiba Harris. St. Kitts and Nevis international, now 31. A lot of size on this back line for FC Dallas tonight between Harris, Walker Zimmerman, Aubrey David, and Minor Figueroa. Castillo's in behind. The flag is down. Rodriguez to defend. Castillo cuts it back. So dangerous in these spots. Comes off Rodriguez. Atiba Harris feigns across. Now Castillo against Warner. And Diaz cannot keep it down. Diaz scored a wonderful goal. Curling it inside the far post against Chicago this weekend. Also, as we mentioned, the equalizing goal against Colorado back in the round of 16 at the end of June. 3 goals, 9 assists in 16 regular season games this year. Third straight Open Cup start for Willis. He also started Friday at LA after Tyler Derrick suffered an abdominal injury Thursday in practice. Manotas, good turn. He took some contact from behind. It's waved off. Manotas getting frustrated here in this first half as Figueroa made a clean challenge in the eye of referee Kevin Terry Jr. But Manotas has been frustrated. He's on a yellow card. I think it was he who was called for the foul on an offensive corner kick for the Dynamo, but now Manotas contending. He's been fouled a few times. But Oscar Pereira has to know the talent that is Mauro Manotas. They're both Colombian. And Manotas, a up-and-coming prospect with the under-20s, so perhaps Pereira thought, I'm going to use a physical back line against Manotas, thinking he might start tonight. Upset his timing. Manotas still learning, just 21 years of age. And Figueroa, a veteran of 2 World Cups and European soccer, now age 33. Manotas, the opening goal and the closing goal last round against Kansas City. Could have scored 3 or 4, hit the post on one chance. Just a wonderful display from the Colombian. Here he is working hard against Zimmerman. So the early fouls haven't deterred young Mauro. Throw into Dallas. Now here's Barnes. Good win against Diaz. 3 versus 3 for Houston. Barnes has Wenger wide rights. Now Clark joins. Wenger running at Figueroa. Service towards the back post, it's beyond Manotas. And Wenger puts his hand up to acknowledge the cross could have been better. Still a bright display from Houston, big win from Barnes to start it. Now Barrios behind Mansally, early ball, and Agus will concede a corner. But the alternative was a possibility for Urruti or Fabian Castillo. Rodriguez was upset after the play. I don't know if it was for Agus's clearance. Maybe he was told he had time, or perhaps Mansally for giving Barrios too much time. Now Diaz walks over to take this corner kick here on the half-hour mark. Mauro Diaz towards the spot, punched away by Willis. Good clearance from the big 6'5" goalkeeper. But now Diaz has space to serve again. Mansally blocks this one. And the former forward watches it out for a Dallas throw-in. We see the replay. Sure-handed goalkeeping from Willis. And now it's going to be Atiba Harris with a possible long throw-in, but as I say that, Walker Zimmerman jogs back into his space and he takes this throw-in from Atiba Harris. Anibaba heads to Wenger. Can the Dynamo get out in transition? Dallas reacts well. Scoreless game, no great chance for either team. Dallas had a few moments with their wingers getting in good crossing positions. Notice may have had the best chance for the Dynamo as the big switching ball goes long. And that's our hydration break. It's about 91 at kickoff with significant humidity. And here just past 8 o'clock in Houston, Texas. It's 90 degrees. And it feels like temperature of 99. Good chance to look at the scores in the U.S. Open Cup. Chicago 1. Fort Lauderdale Strikers nothing. Chicago has been close to the final the last few years. They've had some deep runs. They lead 1-0. David Acom, his 4th goal in this year's tournament. The new leader among active players. One pass, Marmanotis. Edwin Borboa, a 33-year-old Mexican. He previously played with Chivas, Indios, and Pachuca. Scored 5 goals for La Máquina of the United Premier Soccer League based out of Santa Ana. They ultimately lost to the LA Galaxy in the 4th round after extra time. His 5 goals lead the Golden Boot race. And now David Acom has 4. 1-0 Chicago, 26th minute. That was a 5th minute penalty from Acom. New England continues to lead at home. They're playing that game at Harvard Stadium. And former Dynamo and former FC Dallas midfielder and defender Javon Watson scoring a goal a minute before halftime, set up by Diego Fagundes. That's the difference. Philadelphia, as we said, looking to get back to the final for the 3rd straight year. And the Union beat the Revolution in the quarterfinals 2 years ago, 2-0. Sebastian Letou scored the winning goal. So Chicago, a first half lead, New England a second half lead. New England beat New York Cosmos 3-2 last round, their 2nd straight win on the road. Revolution beat FC Dallas in the U.S. Open Cup final back in 2007. That was in Frisco, a 3-2 New England win. Hydration break is over. That time will be added to the first half stoppage time as Manotas takes more contact, this time from Aubrey David, but keeps possession as advantage was played. Scoreless game after the hydration break. Now Barnes is bumbled over by Atiba Harris. Right in front of Oscar Pereira, who helps up Giles Barnes. Very chippy game here in Houston. Now Maidana with the free kick. This time he goes short to Barnes. Barnes in behind Barrios. Barnes outside of the right, service came off Zimmerman. Warner will run it down. 4 still in the box for Houston. Warner back to Anibaba. Anibaba pulled it back against Castillo. Pretty good delivery, but it's actually too close to sights. So the Dynamo going short to Barnes, and now Dallas trying to break. Barrios forward. Good ball that time from Diaz. Mansali does just enough. Good angle from the Gambian. And then he turns it over right to the feet of Carlos Guerrezo. Now Arrudi's in, but the ball too heavy from Diaz. So the game opens up following the hydration break. A good defensive play from Abdoulaye Mansali, but the turnover gave Dallas a second chance. We told you the substitutes for the Dynamo, most notably on the attacking end, Boniek Garcia, Will Bruin, and Alex Lima. Coy Kraft has been a big part of the Open Cup for Oscar Pereira. He is on the bench, the 19-year-old homegrown player. Ryan Hollingshead can play basically anywhere on the fields. And another one is another Colombian, Carlos Lizarazo, 25-year-old. He scored twice against OKC Energy FC before Dallas eventually won in penalties back in the fourth round. He is also on the bench along with Mauro Rosales and Victor Ulloa. Rosales scoring this weekend against Chicago. Ulloa has been a big part of Oscar Pereira's team the last 2 years. Good ball from Gruezo. Diaz tries to spin away from Agus Garcia. And Willis away for Houston. Figueroa's had a very good first half on that left side. 33 years of age, but he started 19 of Dallas's 22 league games this year. He's done a good job against Wenger, against Manotas, and also Maidana when he's drifted out there. Very imposing back four for Pereira tonight. Here's Aubrey David. Not afraid to get forward. Here he turns it over. Maidana over the top. Here's Manotas. He's now in behind. He tries his luck. Very ambitious take. We see that from Manotas. Some audacious attempts at goal, but that's what you get from a young player. And if it helps him find a rhythm in this match, so be it. Well wide of Chris Seitz's far post. Diaz. Figueroa. Acosta. Missed trap by Mansali. Here's Barrios trying to pounce. Barnes shoulder to shoulder. Ref had a good view. And he says play on. So good hustle from Giles Barnes helping out Abdoulaye Mansali, who just simply missed the trap. Now it's Manotas. Back to Maidana. Maidana too far in front of Manotas. Dallas the more threatening team for the first 39 minutes. Diaz has been on the ball a lot. Barrios has gotten in behind a few times. But Dynamo been let off the hook so far. Here's Wenger with Anibaba. That's a good 1-2. Wenger now away from Diaz. Early ball, Wenger just beyond Manotas. Good early service from the 25-year-old Andrew Wenger. And now Mansali wins it from Barrios. Can the Dynamo take advantage? A 1-2. It was just a bit off from Mansali to the feet of Maidana. Dynamo just a bit off in the final third at the moment. Now it's Diaz. Good floated ball in front of Arudi. Arudi in on goal. Maxi Arudi! And it's saved by Willis and out for a Dallas corner. So the game opening up, I'm sure more so than Wade Barrett would like. And moments after a chance for the Dynamo on one end, Diaz, with one of his classic balls in behind, puts in Arudi. So we see the replay, left-footed hit from the Argentine. 5 goals for Arudi, who had a bit of a slump, but he has 2 goals in his last 2 appearances in league play. Scored a goal against Chicago on Saturday. Here's Diaz with the corner. Too far gone for everybody, including Figueroa. Rudy had a goal in last year's playoffs as Portland won its first MLS Cup. take him in the re-entry draft as Dallas moved up for the #1 position. They had their eyes on a Rudy. Now Barnes drifting central as Maidana shifts wide. We'll see if the Dynamo stay with this look for the remainder of the half. Clark has gone full-time in 17 straight league games. Leads the Dynamo in minutes played in the regular season. Guerreiro gets away from Barnes. Diaz away from Warner. Diaz really finding his way into this game. But then Warner hunts him down in the end. Good, resolute defending from Colin Warner, who runs down Diaz. Now Maidana. This game has opened up here at BBVA Compass Stadium. Still seeking the first goal. Barnes on this left side. Here's Agus Garcia. Warner picks out a good switch. That's Jalilani Baba. Wenger and Minotas in front. Wenger away from Aubrey David. He wins a corner kick. Well, now the Dynamo with a chance from a set piece after wasting the last couple. Houston called for a foul in the box on Maidana's last corner from this side of the field. He goes short to Barnes. Barnes tries a back heel. He wins another corner kick. Fabian Castillo is on this near side, right in front of Oscar Pereira on the Dallas bench. He is the outlet for Dallas. Mansally 1 versus 1 against him if Dallas tries to counter. Maidana, low service. Agus was there first, didn't flick it enough, met too much of the forehead, and it's a Dallas goal kick. New England continues to lead 1-0 into the 81st minute. Javon Watson's goal, the difference in that one. Meanwhile, Chicago has doubled its lead. They lead 2-0 over the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Michael DeLue, new acquisition, scoring in the 35th minute. Akam setting up DeLue. 2-0 Fire in the first half from Toyota Stadium. Throw in Dallas and look to take it quickly. Here's Harris. Rodriguez out to Barnes. Took some contact from Guerreiro. And a delayed call against Guerreiro, who played with Ecuador at the Copa America in the United States last month. The semifinal and final draw is tomorrow, 10 a.m. Dynamo and Dallas know if they win, they'll play the winner of tonight's game between the LA Galaxy and Seattle from the StubHub Center, but the venue not decided. It'll be live on U.S. Soccer's YouTube channel, 10 a.m. Central Time. Throw in now for FC Dallas. It's actually for the Dynamo as the central referee overrules the linesman. Now Wenger. And they're going to pull it back, saying that too much confusion was there and they need to take the throw again. Anibaba very upset. As we'll have 2 minutes added on here at the end of the first half. Anibaba, always a passionate player. A winner of the other two quarterfinals going on right now, New England and Philly, Chicago and Fort Lauderdale. They will also be in the semifinals, and the host of that semifinal will be decided tomorrow morning as well. Agus, too far for Manotas. And Seitz, an easy catch. It's been a quiet first half for the Colombian Mara Manotas, who had such a great game against Kansas City, but this is a different back four. It's a battle-tested, physical back four. A lot of savvy. Manotas has not had many free runs between the center backs. It's been a learning experience, I'm sure, for the man who turned 21 on Friday. First half stoppage time. And Sally, a big clearance. Here's Maidana using his body against Zimmerman. Harris clears. And Clark's header out for a throw-in. And there's the halftime whistle. Pretty even first 45 minutes. I think Dallas had probably more of the chances, but Joe Willis not tested too many times. But Dallas threatening that Dynamo back line throughout. The Dynamo can go in and regroup as we head to the next 45 minutes. Of course, extra time if needed. Extra time was required between these two teams 2 years ago in the round of 16, a 3-2 Dallas win. And of course, if not decided through extra time, we will go to penalties. Beautiful view at BBVA Compass Stadium here at halftime of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup quarterfinals and the fourth ever Texas Derby in this competition. We have many good videos set for halftime programming, so we'll take a short break. When we come back, a loaded halftime. We'll be back for the second half kickoff. Following that, halftime from Houston, Dynamo nothing, FC Dallas nothing.
My first ever goal was to become a professional player. It's something I dreamed of as a kid. Coming out of the tunnel for the first time, it was incredible. The only thing I think about was trying to find my dad in the crowd. That was my way of settling my nerves. He's my mentor, my hero. It was that moment that I realized this is my dream and this is my chance to grasp it.
Who says success doesn't happen overnight? That's exactly when it happens. Night after night after night. Smoke 9. It took 9 iterations to perfect, and it's finally here. Wingstop, get at it.
BHP Billiton is a leading global resources company with mining and oil and gas interests worldwide. Our reputation is built on proven performance, helping provide the energy that keeps the world moving, cities growing, communities thriving. And we combine this innovative spirit with a commitment to sustainability, developing natural resources with responsibility and integrity, today and for years to come. BHP Billiton, resourcing the future.
We are at Kids Meals, and we are just helping prepare meals for preschool kids in the Houston greater area.
Kids Meals, we're the only Meals on Wheels program for preschool kids in the entire nation. Our mission is to make sure these kids are fed and don't go hungry, and we have to have volunteers do this. And without these people making the sandwiches, helping us pack them, helping deliver them, we really would not be able to get this food to these kids that are so hungry and that desperately need it. So we're so appreciative of our volunteers.
For anyone, it's important to give back, and I think it's been a great experience for all of us, and we're just trying to do our part to help out. Try to have a little bit of fun with it, but above all, it's just about helping out and doing what we can do to contribute.
Es importante para mí porque creo que es bonito, ¿no? y bueno ayudar a los más pequeños, a gente que no tiene recursos y que nosotros, gracias a Dios, estamos en una situación que nos permite ayudar, poder sacar una sonrisa a los más pequeños y ya te digo que es un verdadero placer, ¿no? Poder ayudar a los más pequeños para que tengan una mejor vida.
Any hungry mouth that we can help feed is a great thing, and like I said, we're happy to be here and we're happy to help the community in any way we can. Strategy, stuff as many sandwiches as fast as you can. That's about all.
I just try not to think. This is easier than just play soccer.
It's a really, really good experience. I am the employee of the month. I am the best guy making sandwiches.
It's just a really sweet experience and awesome to see where all these volunteer hours go to these little hands, these little mouths that really have no way to help themselves.
Working with the Houston Astros to pioneer less invasive treatments for shoulder injuries. Using advanced training programs to help the Houston Dynamo and Dash avoid injury. And using innovative healing techniques to get the Houston Texans back on the field faster. Working with elite athletes to better treat the everyday athlete. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
They're prehistoric. They've been extinct for millions of years. They're at the Houston Zoo this summer. Dinosaurs at the Houston Zoo. Journey back in time and come face to face with these massive creatures, from the feathered Utahraptor and towering Brachiosaurus to the mighty T-Rex. These dinosaurs move, roar, and even spit water. For details, go to houstonzoo.org and hurry to the Houston Zoo this summer before this exhibit goes extinct.
Rising before the sun is easy when you love your work. It's done every day by the thousands of electricians at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 716. We train hard, show up on time, and feel responsible for the work we do. We live by our word. There are no excuses, because customers and Houston's community deserve that. IBEW, where skilled labor isn't cheap, and cheap labor isn't all that skilled. The time is now to hire IBEW electricians.
CenterPoint Energy, we're giving you more tips on natural gas safety.
Before digging in my yard, I always call 811 to have my utility lines marked to avoid service interruptions or injury. It's better to call 811 now than 911 later. And if I ever suspect a gas leak, I leave the area immediately, and then I call CenterPoint Energy and 911 from a safe, remote location. Really?
Your safety is in your hands and always on our mind, because you are at the center of everything we do. CenterPoint Energy. Always there.
All right, come on, everybody. It's time to go. Come on. Who's excited for the zoo today?
Getting more for your money is simpler than you might think. When you shop at Kroger, you get low prices throughout the store, weekly specials, great value from our quality brands, digital coupons, and even fuel points to help you save at the pump. No spin, just savings, pure and simple. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
Dynamo with 4 orange shirts near the corner flag. Mansally, good ball to the middle, and it's Manotas to open the scoring! 7 minutes in, the Dynamo grab the lead! Alicia 1-2 with Espinosa. Good ball to the near post, and it somehow stays out. What a finish that would have been from Diego Rubio. Whiffs clearance that time from Rocha. Failhaber into the box. Zusi's in. Good save from Willis. Lima for Miranda. Ellis tracking back. Good run from Manotas. Can Manotas get there? He gets there in front of Can. Can he find the angle? And it's off the post. Rocha. Good ball towards the near post. Kept alive by Wenger. And it's put home. Alex Lima and the Dynamo with a 2-0 lead over the reigning champions. Bonia finds Manotas, great touch, it's Manotas! And he has his second!
BHP Billiton is a leading global resources company with mining and oil and gas interests worldwide. Our reputation is built on proven performance, helping provide the energy that keeps the world moving, cities growing, communities thriving. And we combine this innovative spirit with a commitment to sustainability, developing natural resources with responsibility and integrity, today and for years to come. BHP Billiton, resourcing the future.
Who says success doesn't happen overnight? That's exactly when it happens. Night after night after night. Smoke 9. It took 9 iterations to perfect, and it's finally here. Wingstop, get at it.
Welcome back to BBVA Compass Stadium here in Houston, Texas. Halftime at the quarterfinal between the Houston Dynamo and FC Dallas, fourth all-time Texas derby in the U.S. Open Cup. A quick look at our halftime stats. 3 shots for each team. Dallas with the only shot on target. That came from Maxi Arutzi. Dynamo with 3 corner kicks, 2 for FC Dallas. Dallas with 56% possession. Slightly better passing accuracy. Dynamo 5 fouls to Dallas's 4. And the only booking went to Mauro Manotas in the 23rd minute for a foul against Atiba Harris. So the teams will change ends. The Dynamo in orange, FC Dallas in the white tops, blue shorts, and white and blue socks. Again, a look at the quarterfinal scoreboard, in Philadelphia has done it again. They equalize at Harvard Stadium in Boston. It's 1-1. New England with a late lead through Javon Watson, but the Union have equalized. They've come from behind several times in this competition. They came back to beat the New York Red Bulls in the last round, and it's Fabian Erbers, their rookie out of Creighton University, scoring in the 90th minute. And the all-time leading goal scorer in the U.S. Open Cup, Sebastian Letou, provided the assist. So Erbers came into this game as a substitute for Roland Alberg, and he scores the equalizer 90th minute. They're in second half stoppage time at Harvard, 1-1 New England and Philadelphia. Chicago continues to lead 2-0. David Accam and Michael Delayu, the first half goals for Chicago over the Fort Lauderdale Strikers of the NASL. 9:30 Central Time kickoff. We'll see the LA Galaxy hosting Seattle Sounders FC. And here we go in the second half. It's the Dynamo and FC Dallas. Dynamo looking to reach the semifinals for the 3rd time in their history, first time since 2009. Dallas trying to find their 8th U.S. Open Cup semifinal as Mauro Diaz is fouled. Free kick Dallas. Dallas 7-6-1 all-time in the quarterfinals. Dynamo 2-1. They lost last year at Kansas City 3-1. No changes from either team after 45 minutes. Here's newcomer Aubrey David, 25-year-old Trinidad and Tobago international, 23 caps. Now for David, looked very comfortable in that first half. The Dynamo, as we said, in a 4-2-3-1, a departure from the 4-1-4-1 formation under Wade Barrett. He said before the game he wanted more attacking options. Thought this gave the Dynamo more opportunities to attack. As Harris gets it forward, good cover from Agus Garcia, who takes no chances, puts it into about the 9th row of the upper deck. Here's Maxi Arutzi, 2 goals in his last 2 league games. Diaz wide here. Figueroa. May have been a shot, may have been a cross. Arutzi not happy with whatever decision it was from Figueroa. May have just tried to hit it hard. And whether it was on target or a cross, so be it. But didn't come close. Goal kick to Houston. Joe Willis' 3rd straight start in the Open Cup. He's had a busy season. It's his 13th start and his 16th overall appearance this season, as Tyler Derrick has had 2 different abdominal injuries this year and picked up a couple red cards. So Willis has actually played more than Tyler Derrick all told this season. Here's Fabian Castillo. Figueroa overlapping. Castillo cuts inside. And then Warner really sealed off the passing lane well as Castillo tried to find Diaz. Anibaba clears. Here's Chaco Maidana in behind. Acosta in retreat. Dynamo do not have many numbers in support. Here comes Wenger. Maidana slows it down. Picks out Clark, middle of the field. Clark scored a goal against Austin Aztecs last year in this tournament. Here's Barnes. Here's Mansally, well-timed overlap. 2 in the box. It's Manotas, and what a save from Seitz! Well, after a frustrating first half where Manotas thought he was fouled a few times and picked up a yellow card, he times his run well, gets on the end of a Mansally cross, and he forces a very good save from Seitz at the near post. And those two hooked up. And Mansally assisted on Manotas' opening goal against Kansas City in the round of 16. Here is it Maidana for the corner kick. Towards the middle. Headed out by Atiba Harris. Now Barnes. Very nearly testing Seitz. A few yards over the crossbar. So the Dynamo showing some life here in the early stages of the second half. Barnes very confident. As we said, 6 shots at LA on Friday. His last goal for the Dynamo came against Real Salt Lake here, May 15th. Mauro Diaz. Wide left, Fabian Castillo against Jalil Anibaba. Castillo. Acosta, good defending from Agus Garcia. The big Spaniard got a foot in. And on the other side, it's Aubrey David a step ahead of Christian Maidana. Good tempo to this second half here, 5 minutes in. Raul Rodriguez. A rare sloppy pass from him. He's known for his technical skill. Very good passer out of the back. That one was in between Anibaba and Maidana. But the Dynamo react well, get numbers back before the throw-in. Here's Diaz. The flag is down. Big save from Willis. That was Barrios for Dallas. Now it's Acosta, and Clark runs him down. So after a quiet first half, both goalkeepers making a big save in the first 6 minutes of the second half. Almost identical. That was Willis at the near post. Now Manotas challenging Figueroa. And it's a Houston throw-in. Michael Barrios timed his run well. Beautiful ball from Diaz. And off the right knee of Joe Willis. Meanwhile, after the throw-in, the Dynamo gain a corner kick. Some good work from Andrew Wenger. So Willis really tested for the first time. He made a first half save that was much easier, as we see what led to the corner kick. And now the Dynamo will be allowed a second chance as we're a play behind. Referees go over to sort it out. Kevin Terry Jr. in the middle. Jeffrey Greason on this near side. And it's a Dallas goal kick. Mansally away for Houston. Barnes in the open fields. Wenger using the width very well. Pulls out Minor Figueroa. Good dribbling from Wenger. Has Maidana. Inside Clark. Advantage played. Barnes. Barnes! And it's caught by Seitz. Barnes frustrated. He knew he didn't get enough on it. But the Dynamo some much better attacking movements here early in the second half. Arudi against Agus. Throw in Dallas near the far corner. Barrios. Carlos Guerrezo, previously with Stuttgart in the Bundesliga, was the 4th youngest player at the 2014 World Cup. He was there with Ecuador. Here he is on the ball now. Very good ball, picks out Barrios against Mansali, and the Gambian does very well. A converted forward, entered this league with New England as a forward, now playing left back with the Dynamo after a trade from Salt Lake and doing a pretty good job tonight. Here's Barnes, running at Zimmerman. Barnes tried to slip past Zimmerman, but very good patient defending from the 4th-year pro at Furman University, Walker Zimmerman. Now it's Castillo against Rodriguez. Arudi slips in, away from Anibaba, tries the scoop, and it's over the bar. The Dynamo getting pulled apart a bit here. And this game has really opened up. More chances in the first 10 minutes of the second half than we had in the first 45 minutes. And that was Arudi just jolting through the center backs there after Rodriguez got displaced. And that entire sequence set up by Walker Zimmerman, timing his tackle well against Barnes. It was all or nothing. If he didn't get that tackle right, Barnes is in one-on-one with Seitz. Now Wenger does well in the air. Manotas wide to Maidana. Maidana running at Zimmerman. Chaco Maidana, back heel for Clark, but he got it wrong. But Clark wins it back, and then he lost his footing. Goal kick Dallas. Good look at Wade Barrett, interim head coach of the Houston Dynamo. A win, 2 defeats, and 4 draws in league play. 2 wins in the U.S. Open Cup before tonight for Wade Barrett. Every game has been tight, apart from the 3-2 loss at Dallas, June 26th. Settled by Agus Garcia. Then he's caught in possession by Arudi. Barrios to his right. Barrios is in. Heavy touch. Big save, Willis, once again. Willis stopping Barrios for the second time here early in the second half, and the Dynamo really need to sort out the defense. That was Arudi, the Argentine. Pinpoint pass in the path of Barrios. And Joe Willis has been very good on this night. I remember seeing the shaky start for him. He nearly had a clearance block by Maxi Arudi in the first minute of this game. One of the hardest working forwards in MLS is Maxi Arudi. You see it on display right there. Willis nearly had a clearance inside his own 6-yard box block, but in terms of shot stopping, he's been very good. 2 big stops in the second half. Maidana away from Castillo just in time. Giles Barnes between 2. Here's Barnes. Towards Wenger. Figueroa heads away, but Maidana reclaims. That was Manotas with the run in behind. Maidana not enough on the overhead ball. Aubrey Davids had a very cool night in the back next to Zimmerman. Clark with Maidana. Now Rodriguez with time and space. Rodriguez scored his own goal against San Antonio a few weeks ago. Good ball, Wenger, cleared away by Zimmerman. As Wenger tried to find Manotas, Wenger stays down in the box. He's been down a few times in this second half. Wenger just enough to run it down, but he's called for a foul. Our referee tonight is Nima Sagafi. I had the wrong information. So Sagafi calls the foul against Wenger. And he'll jog back and assess Wenger, who had just tried that cross for Manotas, which was cut down by Zimmerman. Rudy drew the foul. He's been very active here in the second half. The game has come to life. David forward. Anibaba, Rodriguez converge on the same ball. It still works out for Houston. Wenger back to Agus. Good first touch. Arudi applying more pressure. And Agus finds Maidana. Manotas in front. Clark joining. Barnes is free on the far side. Manotas is in. Manotas off the crossbar! Falls to Barnes. Barnes is blocked. What a hit from Mauro Manotas from what seemed like a very difficult angle. He rattles the cage. Stunning hit from the 21-year-old. That's all it takes. He scored from a slightly similar angle, the closing goal against Kansas City in their 3-1 win here 3 weeks ago. Amazing power from that angle. Here's Barnes isolated against Atiba Harris in the corner. Here's Barnes, step over, early ball, Wenger crashing! He got a head on it, but Seitz will run it down. Physical battle, Wenger against Atiba Harris. As Barnes delivered with the outside of his right. What an exciting 15 minutes we've had since the break. Seitz punts away. Arudi wins the header. Anibaba well ahead of Castillo. Castillo showing some frustration for Seitz. Joe Willis, 27-year-olds from St. Louis, played at University of Denver. Wenger flicks on towards Chaco Maidana. He spins away from Acosta. Wenger joining, he must be tired. Now Wenger against Aubrey David, looking for an angle. Instead, wins the throw-in. Honest effort tonight from Wenger. A few good options on the bench that could replace him. Boniek Garcia, a like-for-like replacement. Alex Lima could come on, which would possibly move Barnes to the right side or central. Maidana back to Anibaba. Shaky ball from Anibaba. Hospital in front of Clark. And that leaves room for Dallas to come this way, but it's too far in front of Mauro Diaz. Ryan Hollingshead preparing to come on. He scored against the Dynamo in early June. We might see another water break. Well, that would probably come later in the half, around the 70th or 75th minutes. It's Michael Barrios coming off. So in some ways, I'm sure a sigh of relief from Wade Barrett and the Dynamo, the dangerous man, Michael Barrios, who's been so good in this league for 2 seasons. And he gets 62 minutes, and now the versatile Hollingshead comes on. Barrios, 6 goals. The FC Dallas team leader this season. 7 last year. But he's one of these players that's played many minutes of late. It's his 4th start during this 5 games in 17-day span. And Hollingshead replaces him 63rd minute, the first change from Oscar Pareja. Hollingshead, 25-year-olds, grew up near Sacramento, played at UCLA. All the substitutes getting loose on the Dynamo bench. Nobody on the verge of coming in as Maidana flicks it towards Wenger. Dynamo finding some luck on this right side here in the second half. Here's Anibaba pushing forward. Now Wenger, 1 versus 3. Wenger's in. Wenger on his left, deflected shot, and it's out for a corner kick. Wenger taking the space in front of him. And he wins a Houston corner. Barnes jogs over. Good tempo from the Jamaica international. He wants to take it, but he'll leave it for Maidana. Dynamo have used a lot of short corners and set pieces tonight. We'll see what they do here. Wenger, top of the box. Agus marked by Walker Zimmerman. 3 right near sights for Houston. Maidana's service to the back post. It's beyond everybody, including Warner. Now Wenger, hard tackle. He wins it against Acosta. Amazing work rate from Wenger. Bodies go down in the box. Maidana looking for a scoop pass. Picks out Manotas, tough angle, right through the 6, but nobody's there. Wenger is exhausted, but he runs it down. Early ball near post, and Seitz picks it up, and Wenger now asks for the substitution. He's left it all on the field. Back the other way, Arrudi's behind Rodriguez. Castillo, line on this left side. Mansally got his arms up. He might have gotten away with one there. Sagafi had a good view. And Mansally now overlapping. But the Dynamo cautious on one end. Nick Mansally doesn't realize that Wenger needs a sub. Some of these players just exhausted. That was Arrudi coming back towards midfield. Wenger has made run after run in the second half. Emptied the tank. It was a critical tackle, Mansally against Arrudi a moment ago. Better tempo from Houston this half as Warner makes an advance run. Rodriguez picks him out, calling Warner away from Acosta. Warner delivering just beyond Mauro Manotas. A rare foray forward for Colin Warner. Now here comes Atiba Harris down the right side. It's Boniek Garcia preparing to come on for Wade Barrett and the Dynamo. Wenger, about 80 minutes at LA on Friday. We'll go close to 70 here in the Open Cup. Wenger, of course, part of the Philadelphia Union teams that have lost in the final the last 2 years. You know this tournament probably means more to him than many other players in MLS, coming so close the last 2 years. Aubrey David, wide Figueroa. In front of his Honduras teammate Boniek Garcia about to come on. Castillo shifted to the right side. Diaz pulled wide left on this side. Rodriguez does well, beating Arruti to it. Now Mansally under pressure, must be careful. Agus away from Hollingshead. Barnes lost it to Atiba Harris. Dynamo must be careful here. Here's where Dallas is dangerous. Castillo's in, has Arruti, and a poor pass from Castillo is cleared by Warner. And it looked like a handball. Sagafi had a decent view. It's waved off. Looked like clear from Harris as it hit his hands. Dynamo very much stretched here. Here's Castillo, 1 versus 4. Tried to slip it through. Anibaba did well, stopping it with his thigh. Now it's Barnes for Manotas. Zimmerman grabbed him, but the flag was up. And that's unfortunate because Manotas was in behind the Dallas back line. And here's the change. Andrew Wenger, perhaps carrying an injury or a knock, perhaps just exhausted, goes 68 minutes and gets an appreciative cheer from the hometown fans. Boniek Garcia replaces him. Garcia has started every game in league play under Wade Barrett, going 90 minutes in most of them, although he went just 60 minutes on Friday at LA before he was replaced by Maidana. Dallas has gone the full 120 minutes in each of the previous 2 rounds. Winning last round on an extra time goal from Maruti over Colorado, beating OKC Energy FC on penalties in the 4th round. The Dynamo have not needed extra time in this tournament this season. Here's Figueroa. Hollingshead, forward run. He's behind Anibaba. Rodriguez checking the middle. Hollingshead. And good defending by Rodriguez. Cut down the passing lane. Rodriguez tried to slip it for Diaz. Clark now gets a run from Manotas. He pulls out Zimmerman. Good first touch from Manotas. Zimmerman forces him towards the sideline. What a great pass from Manotas. Gets a pass from Boniak. Now it's Maidana. Slip ball from Maidana, too soft. Cut down Figueroa. Now Rodriguez slows down Diaz. Good help from Maidana of all people. Very entertaining second half from Houston. We're in the 70th minute. These teams went to extra time in the 4th round here 2 years ago. Tesho Akindele, a winning goal. Dynamo had 14 total players that night. They were so depleted due to the World Cup and suspension and injury. I think Eric Bruner was the backup goalie after Tyler Derrick got a red card in the previous round. Semi-final berth on the line. That would be August 9th or 10th. Opponent, Seattle or LA. Venue decided tomorrow in the Open Cup draw at 10 a.m. on the U.S. Soccer YouTube channel. Missed trap by Clark. Can Dallas break? Clark fouls Diaz. He'll go in the book for a tactical foul. Did not want to give Diaz an open field with Arudi and Castillo in behind. Clark joins Manotas, the only men in the book. Chicago is out at a 3rd goal. They lead Fort Lauderdale Strikers 3-0 at home. It was David Acom, the opening goal. Michael DeLu, the 2nd goal. A new Dutch striker. And then Kaylee Time, the 3rd. Comfortable lead at home, 63rd minute. Chicago over Fort Lauderdale. And they're approaching penalties at Harvard Stadium in Boston. New England won, Philadelphia won 116th minutes. Here, it's scoreless. LA Galaxy and Seattle will begin in about 25 minutes from Carson, California. Both teams with 2 substitutions left. Clark with Mansally. Throw in Houston. Referee checking his watch. Perhaps another hydration break coming from Nima Sagafi. We saw one in the first half. Temperature 91 degrees at kickoff with significant humidity. But give these teams credit. They have not played like they're in tropical heat. Very good attack-minded display from both. Great strength from Clark. He sealed off Diaz to win it, and that was a crucial intervention. The Dynamo only had 2 at the back. Now it's Maidana. Poor switch, wanted Anibaba. Hollingshead wins it. And then Rodriguez dumps Arudi. Free kick Dallas. As we see a replay, shoulder to the back from Rodriguez against Arudi. Arudi, a winning goal against Colorado. The 2 top teams in the Western Conference met last round of the Open Cup. As a long ball from Diaz intended for Hollingshead is caught by Willis. Arudi the winning goal. Here he is working back against Anibaba. And that one hits Arudi as Anibaba tried a big switch for Barnes. Rudy had a very good chance this half, saved by Willis. Barrios had one. Barrios has since come off for Hollingshead. Boniek Garcia, one of his first touches since coming on. The replacement for Andrew Wenger. Now Barnes, away from Castillo, still Barnes. At the end line, he'll win a corner kick. Good work from Barnes. A center forward on Friday, a winger tonight. Gained a few corner kicks for Houston in this one. This one falls on the shoulders of Boniek Garcia. Over 100 caps for Honduras. Here it is, towards the back post. And Acosta away. Barnes arriving, and it's caught by Seitz. Which team has the opening goal? Dallas, their 5th game in 17 days. They'll play their 6th in 20 on Saturday against Colorado. The CONCACAF Champions League group stage looming for them in about a month's time. This team could play well over 50 games this year if they have another deep playoff run. Rudy against Mansali, far side. Good work from Abdoulaye Mansali. Now it's Boniek. Has a good run from Manotas. Manotas will get there. Inside against Aubrey David. Back heel from Boniek. Now it's Barnes. Barnes picks out Maidana. Alibaba on the right. Both these teams look tired. Here's Clark. Good switch, picks out Barnes. Mansali decides to join. Barnes, early delivery. Zimmerman strong in the air to head away. And now it's Rodriguez. Good work against Diaz. Dangerous part of the field. Dallas can really make you pay in the open field. Barnes now against Atiba Harris. Driving inside the box. He's tripped up just beyond the chalk. Free kick, Houston. That is the Giles Barnes the Dynamo want to see. 1 versus 1, isolated on the wing. Drawing fouls, and this time a yellow card to Harris. Maidana or Boniek to hit it. Maidana from about 23 yards out. Against Philly on July 2nd, against his old team. He came off the bench, scored from 23 yards, but it was dead center after Boniek Garcia drew the foul. This a much more difficult angle to score from directly. He might curl it. Barnes might go for power. Big free kick for the Houston Dynamo. Alex Lima preparing to come on for Houston. Getting final instructions from Wade Barrett on the Houston bench. Who will it be? Barnes or Maidana? Laid back to Barnes and his shot is blocked. A wasted free kick from Houston. And now here comes Dallas. 3 versus 2 in the open field. Castillo has a Rudy to his left. Mansali whiffs on it. Castillo overran it, and Boniek comes back to win the ball. Huge play by Boniek. The Dynamo nearly caught out after their own offensive free kick. I think the layoff just took too long. Barnes had a long wind-up. Maybe Maidana rolled it too close to the wall, but it was a good block from Dallas. Here's Barnes, curling it. Too long for everybody, goal kick. Barnes did score a direct free kick goal against Dallas last year in Houston, a 4-1 Dallas win. That was the only bright spot for the Dynamo as we enter our second hydration break of the evening here in the 79th minute. No changes in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup out-of-town scoreboard. 1-1 New England and Philadelphia. Moments away from second half penalty kicks. Chicago continues to lead Fort Lauderdale Strikers 3-0. Second half from Chicago. LA Galaxy, Seattle kickoff 9:30 Central Time. That game also on the U.S. Soccer YouTube channel. It's time to paint it black again as the Dynamo take on Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Saturday, July 23rd, 8:15 p.m. That's this Saturday. The party gets underway early in the Bud Light Beer Garden with the concert featuring one of Houston's favorite bands, the Wild Moccasins. Bud Light Beer Garden ticket packages include a ticket, 2 pregame drinks, and specials throughout the game. Wade Barrett talking to his team on the Dynamo sideline. Getting a few head nods from Giles Barnes. Oscar Pareja directing his charges. Dallas so close in this tournament. They've won it once, 97. They beat DC United in a penalty shootout, 5-3 after a scoreless draw. Jorge Rodriguez clinched it for FC Dallas with the 5th penalty. Jason Kreis, announced as the Orlando City head coach yesterday, also converted his for Dallas. A notable miss for DC United that night was Raul Diaz Arce. That was at Carroll Stadium on the campus of IUPUI in Indianapolis. Twice losers in the final, FC Dallas. 1-0 against the LA Galaxy at the then Home Depot Center in 01. Hercules Gomez, the goal 5 minutes in. And then 2 years later, as we mentioned, Dallas hosted the final in Frisco. Arturo Alvarez and Abe Thompson scored for Dallas, but Pat Noonan, Taylor Twellman, Wells Thompson scored for New England. Thompson the game winner. So Dallas looking for their 8th semifinal berth in their history. Dynamo looking for their 3rd and first since 09. Tesho Akindele preparing to come into this game. Alex Lima has not entered yet for the Dynamo. As Agus Garcia fouls Arudi and Dallas with a free kick. Dynamo need to stay turned on here. Acosta had pushed forward. They're into a shootout in New England. Revolution in Philadelphia. Philly twice finalists, losing at home the last 2 years, trying to get back to a semifinal. Here's Diaz, one-man wall is Maidana. Diaz, well-weighted ball, headed out by Ricardo Clark, and then Mansali runs it down ahead of Walker Zimmerman. Nobody forward for Houston, even Manotas is behind Abdoulaye Mansali. Now Manotas, good feet, away from Guerrezo. Barnes, good energy tonight. He'll run it, Guerrezo. Giles Barnes onto his right. Manotas takes it from him. Away from some contact, but just too many blue shirts. Barnes frustrated. May have thought it was his run, as Mansali then is forced to foul Diaz, who has drawn so many fouls tonight. And Mansali joins Manotas and Clark in the book. Said earlier, Diaz is the most fouled player in MLS based off of fouls per game, about 3.1 fouls he draws a game. He's drawn more than that tonight. Alex Lima has the warm-up bib off. Tesho Akindele is at the 4th officials table. We'll see 2 more changes here shortly. Long restart from Dallas. Maidana keeps it alive. Here's Clark. away from Hollingshead. Good ball, finds the feet of Barnes. Barnes has Boniek. Manotas the lone forward for the Dynamo. Manotas makes a run. Boniek. Not enough on it. Aubrey David took a good angle and beats Manotas to it. Then his ball forward, it's a good one. Urruti against Agus Garcia. Maxi Urruti waiting for help. Diaz lurking behind. It's Castillo, 25 from goal. Great tackle, man. Sally does just enough to block the pass to Diaz. Fabian Castillo. This side now. Urruti. Hollingshead lurking, and the offside flag came up. What a tackle that was from Abdoulaye Mansale, getting in the passing lane. If not, Diaz is in on goal against Willis. Akindele will come on. Alex Lima will replace Giles Barnes. Good effort from Barnes. He goes 85 minutes. And Akindele will replace Urruti. Urruti in some pain as he walks off the field. Grabbing his forehead, maybe just exhaustion. As Barnes gives some encouragement for Alex Lima. Urruti just collapsed on the Dallas sideline. You can see him receiving treatment on this near side. Endless effort from the Argentine. So each team with one change left. Hollingshead and Akindele have come on for Barrios and Urruti respectively for Dallas. Garcia for Wenger, Lima for Barnes for the Dynamo. Boniek was fouled. Countryman Minor Figueroa got him. Game slows down here in the 86th minute. Chaco Maidana. Pretty good delivery. Seitz off his line. He's able to catch it. Good claim from Chris Seitz. 29 years old from San Luis Obispo, California. Played at University of Maryland. He had started 10 straight games in league play before he was rested Saturday. Jesse Gonzalez, well-regarded Mexican-American goalkeeper, has played for Mexico's youth national teams, has been number 2 this year, although he's been in and out of the team with national team call-ups as Boniek returns the favor, fouling Minor Figueroa. Diaz short. Here's Castillo against Anibaba, trying to slip through. 1-2 with Akindele, but Rodriguez cut it down. Dynamo need to be careful here. Dallas springing to life in the 87th minutes. Akindele, Castillo, top of the box. Ball forward. Gruezo against Mansale. Good tackle from Abdoulaye Mansale. Big night from him tonight. It's just his 3rd start of the season. 2nd in the Open Cup, 1 in league play. He's been very good. Now Manotas draws a foul against Walker Zimmerman. Dynamo have outshot Dallas 7-2. Dallas with 3 shots on target, including 2 that forced very good saves from Willis early in this half. Dynamo with more corners, 6-2 over Dallas. Passing accuracy even. Possession is exactly 50-50. Extra time awaits. 2 15-minute periods. No golden goal, of course. And then penalties if needed. Colin Warner. Maidana. Boniek. Warner does well to keep it alive. Akindele tracking back. Warner has position towards the middle. Almost a whiff clearance, but enough for Minor Figueroa. Agu strong in the air against Castillo. Clark lost it to Diaz. Now Clark's pulled out. He's frustrated. Advantage play. Diaz. Mansally throwing his body at Hollingshead. He wins a throw-in for the Dynamo. Huge effort tonight from Abdoulaye Mansally. The 3-2 Dallas win here in Houston back in the 4th round in 14. It was Castillo and Escobar scoring for Dallas. Giles Barnes and Omar Cummings for Houston. And as we said, Tesho Akindele, game winner in the 98th minute as Mansally receives some treatment on the far side. Agus Garcia and the referee Nima Sagafi take a look. '90th minute. Mansally forward, nobody up there for Houston. Acosta. Akindele's in behind. Agus does enough with the clearance. Falls to Castillo. Castillo in space. Castillo! And he scores! Moments into extra time, and Castillo might have a winner for Dallas. At the near post to Joe Willis. Dynamo shocked in their own ends. Castillo just enough, just past the right foot of Willis, who may have been expecting a cross with Akindele and Hollingshead lurking. And Castillo, who has tormented the Dynamo over the years, so many goals and assists, might have had the biggest one right there. Second half stoppage time goal, Fabian Castillo. It's 1-0 Dallas. And Will Bruin is about to come into this game for the Dynamo. Quickly throw it on his jersey. The tactics changing. Both coaches expecting extra time, but Castillo making one play after he was mostly limited throughout the nights. How much extra time will we have? I don't know if there's been an indication just yet. Here's Mansally. Dynamo need to push forward. Bruin will come on next stoppage. Lima. Back to Agu. Shaky back pass from Lima, the substitute. Rodriguez. Boniek. Boniek too far behind Maidana. He nearly wins it back. Free kick Houston. Aubrey David fouling Garcia. Dynamo with a chance from about 27 yards out. Bruin's going to come on for Abdoulaye Mansally here. A forward for a defender. Victor Ulloa will come on for Dallas. Still have not heard or seen how much stoppage time has been added. We did have a hydration break, so that should add at least 60 to 90 seconds, plus the Castilla goal, plus 6 substitutions. And I'm just seeing now 4 minutes will be added on, a minimum. That was before the goal. So Dynamo should have a few minutes to play with as Ulloa replaces Mauro Diaz. Maidana or Boniek for the Dynamo here. Fabian Castillo. Again against the Dynamo. About 30 yards from goal. Only Dallas players are in the wall. Clark nearby. Sagafi will talk with Figueroa and August Garcia. Everyone's back for Dallas, everyone but Joe Willis forward for Houston. Sights cheating to his left. Maidana over the wall and well wide. Goal kick, FC Dallas. Maidana slams the ground in frustration. Castillo, one of the fastest players in the league in tight spaces. The Dynamo exhausted in the 90th minute. They got isolated in the box, went towards the near post. Willis had to worry about his post and a possible cross. And Castillo just inside the post, just inside Willis's right foot. And there's the full-time whistle. Dallas comes to Houston. They get a second half stoppage time goal from Fabian Castillo, and they reach the Open Cup semifinals for the 8th time in their history. For the Dynamo, a very disappointing end to their Open Cup run. Moments away from extra time, home field advantage, and a constant foe, Fabian Castillo, ends their run before they can reach their 3rd ever Open Cup semifinal. Fabian Castillo, the game-winning goal, second half stoppage time, scoring at the near post after a wonderful battle here in the 4th all-time Open Cup Texas Derby. It was a hot night, but both teams took chances, put numbers forward. Much more offensive than the scoreline might indicate. But Dallas keeps their chances for multiple trophies this season alive. They lead the Supporter Shield standings. They're headed to the semifinals. They have the Open Cup, they have the MLS Cup playoffs to play for. And for the Dynamo, as they go out in the Open Cup, they can shift their focus solely to the MLS regular season. Thank you to our producer, Brock Jessel, our audio engineer, David Ober. This is Matt Peterson signing off from BBVA Compass Stadium. Dallas headed to their 8th Open Cup semifinal. Fabian Castillo, the winner in second half stoppage time. Final score, it's FC Dallas 1, Houston Dynamo 0.
My first ever goal was to become a professional player. It's something I dreamed of as a kid. Coming out of the tunnel for the first time, it was incredible. The only thing I think about was trying to find my dad in the crowd. That was my way of settling my nerves. He's my mentor, my hero. It was that moment that I realized this is my dream and this is my chance to grasp it.
They're prehistoric. They've been extinct for millions of years. They're at the Houston Zoo this summer. Dinosaurs at the Houston Zoo. Journey back in time and come face to face with these massive creatures, from the feathered Utahraptor and towering Brachiosaurus to the mighty T-Rex. These dinosaurs move, roar, and even spit water. For details, go to houstonzoo.org and hurry to the Houston Zoo this summer before this exhibit goes extinct.
Rising before the sun is easy when you love your work. It's done every day by the thousands of electricians at the International Brotherhood of Electric Workers, Local 716. We train hard, show up on time, and feel responsible for the work we do. We live by our word. There are no excuses, because customers and Houston's community deserve that. IBEW, where skilled labor isn't cheap, and cheap labor isn't all that skilled. The time is now to hire IBEW electricians.
CenterPoint Energy, we're giving you more tips on natural gas safety.
Before digging in my yard, I always call 811 to have my utility lines marked to avoid service interruptions or injury. It's better to call 811 now than 911 later. And if I ever suspect a gas leak, I leave the area immediately, and then I call CenterPoint Energy and 911 from a safe, remote location.
Really?
Your safety is in your hands and always on our mind because you are at the center of everything we do. CenterPoint Energy. Always there.